This person is like, why are you still single? And I want to be the one to fix that. With this energy of serendipity, this is somebody that feels like it is their lucky day to have crossed paths with you at this point in your life and in this point in their life. This is somebody that is looking to you very exclusively. They want to get to know you more. They are very curious about you, very open minded as far as whatever might be in store between the two of you in terms of a romantic experience. This person finds you to be very endearing. There's a sense that you give off a vibe of almost innocence, but they sense that there are a lot of layers to you. There's an intensity to you that is almost like privileged information. You're not somebody that just kind of like gives it all away. You are somebody that makes potential suitors or people that you allow into your life, you make people earn a place in your life. You're somebody that they see as very like friendly, very warm, very caring, very genuine, but there is also a sense of, again, like deeper layers, layers beyond the surface that they are certain are very deliciously contradictory to whatever it is that you present as like a surface level impression. This is somebody that feels like it would be such a beautiful experience to like earn that access to those deeper layers to you, because what they know so far, they absolutely adore these things about you, but little hints, little peeks that they have had of these kind of like contradictions within you or aspects about you that are very surprising, that would be almost missed by somebody who was only kind of looking at surface level, somebody who wasn't very intuitive, somebody who was just looking for like a quick fling or a surface level situation, somebody who's operating very much in the ego would miss out entirely on the beauty of almost this like fragility or this tenderness inside of you that this person equates with a level of strength. This isn't like you're soft inside and you need this, shell of armor to protect yourself. There's almost a sense of like a fierceness inside that is so regal and true that it comes through as like the softness of the potential to have like a next level and very genuine connection that is available to those who put in the work and earn a place within that kind of inner circle, within that inner sanctum. And so this is somebody that is like standing at attention at this moment, sort of like, yeah, you tell me what I need to do in order to prove to you that I'm serious about you, in order to provide you with certain reassurances, in order to, kind of also demonstrate to you that I'm not just somebody who's going to be sitting in a submissive position as far as you're concerned. I have the capabilities to dominate the situation, and with your permission, I shall do so, because it feels like you are a prize that has likely been overlooked or underestimated by other people. But this is somebody that's like, I don't want to be one of those fools that sort of like, tosses a diamond aside and concentrates instead on sifting through pebbles upon the beach. We also have a message in a bottle. Yeah, so this is somebody, it feels like that they're turning up the heat as far as like flirtations are concerned. This is something where they don't necessarily want to kind of like spook you by being like too direct. They don't want to kind of come on so strong that they intimidate you or cause your guard to go up in any sort of way, because they, again, are almost like, why are you single? And they're not looking at it like there's a potential red flag they should be aware of, but they see you as somebody who is probably like very discerning. You're not desperate for partnership. You're not somebody who's just gonna like settle for the first thing that comes along. You're not gonna like throw yourself at the feet of other people. You're not sitting in a pick me energy. It's like you've already picked yourself, and everything else just kind of falls into place from there. And so this is somebody that, they have the capability to be very like bold and direct, but this is somebody that's almost like, let me sort of lean in closer with more of like a subtle approach, like the art of seduction. How are you going to respond to that? Because this is somebody that it feels like wants to kind of like honor your boundaries, or the sense that like they already have sort of witnessed that there are these like multiple layers to you, or they're able to just sort of intuit the fact that like beyond the surface that you present, there are certainly kind of other aspects to you that would be almost kind of different from what is presented. Just a casual company, casual onlookers, strangers, or people that you know on like a very surface level. This is somebody that understands that humans are very complicated creatures. We all are. We all have our paradoxes. We are different people for everyone. Even the most authentic person. You are somebody different with like close personal friends. You're somebody different with family. You're somebody different when you're alone with yourself. You're somebody different when you're meeting someone new. It's just the reality of the human condition. And so this is somebody that's aware of kind of those layers, those tiers, those steps, those access points that exist within a well-rounded person. And they sense that that exists within you. And they also sense that it's like to get to kind of the juicier bits of who you are, this kind of like privileged part inside of you that exists beyond that like level of self-love or discernment, or the fact that you're not giving off like a pick-me energy, a needy energy, somebody that's gonna like chase affection, chase unavailable people, chase kind of like your self-esteem in the form of other people giving you validation. They're almost sensing like, I need to sort of slip into that next layer with you. I need to sort of, bring in some of that seductive energy, not to play mind games or to manipulate, but to let you know that there's a part of me that, as much as I have these like ferocious feelings towards you, this hunger towards you, this desire towards you, this kind of urge to claim you as mine, I need to recognize where we are with one another. And it's the subtle approaches, how they feel might be the next best step to kind of get you to loosen up, get you to kind of let your guard down in some sort of way, so that they can almost kind of tease some of those layers of you up to the surface. And this isn't somebody that just wants to kind of like, bring you to a place where they're able to kind of access some of these more intimate parts of who you are as a person, like these layers of your personality, ways in which you express yourself, in order to just kind of say to themselves as a form of accomplishment, like, great, I got past this person's barriers. Now let me chalk that up to sort of like a trophy of my capabilities as a skilled manipulator, and then I'll scamper off in the other direction and kind of look for the next fool that I can kind of butter up and bring into that place where they're opening up, they're being honest, they're being vulnerable with me. No, this is somebody that's like, once we reach that place with one another, if you allow me in close, I want to be able to show you that I see you as someone who should be cherished and celebrated for all that you are, not just the ways in which maybe you were shown before that love has to be performative, or, through that process of evolving beyond a pick-me energy into how you're standing at this particular point in time where you've kind of locked parts of yourself away. You need to learn to create those layers of access. You aren't just kind of, giving everyone kind of free range to all that you are. You're not letting everyone in close enough to kind of know that internal you. You have learned to love yourself enough that it's kind of like, yeah, that's something which is earned. It's not something that I just give away to everyone. I don't just invite everyone in close like this. And so this is somebody that feels kind of like going through the process of taking the time to kind of earn access to more of those sweet, those tangy, those like sensitive layers of who you are, that this is something that will require strategy, it will require work, it will require subtlety, almost like the art of seduction. That this is somebody that it's like, yeah, this time and effort is worth it, taking the time to kind of learn the things that you like, the things that you don't like, to prove myself to be kind of an adaptable person, and also a self-assured person that's able to kind of match that strong energy, match that energy of discernment that you're putting off. That this is something that I'm hoping will kind of lead to a place where we can develop more closeness with one another, because I think it would be a really wonderful experience for us to evolve beyond where we are at this time to being in a committed relationship with one another. We also have new life. Yeah, so this is definitely somebody that wants to take things beyond whatever the scope of the experience is that you have with one another at this point in time. They see you as somebody that you have a level of kind of like love or light or sort of like personal strength, self-assurance that shines through you, that is not something that you were just born with. Even if you're like, you got this light inside of you that you've always had that, and maybe you're at a point in your life right now where you're learning to kind of protect that, but also allowing that to sort of shine in a more authentic way. This person knows, maybe because they've walked a very similar sort of path of needing to kind of remove obstacles that stood in the way of kind of the tendency to block or diminish that light, or allow people in that would kind of siphon that in some sort of way, or would cause one to kind of question or misconstrue the nature of that kind of high frequency, that emanation. Somebody that might have even had like partners in the past that had criticized them, like they were too intense, that their needs weren't important, their kind of wants and desires in relationships came secondary to someone else's. This might be somebody that's like a recovering people pleaser, for example. So they see almost a frequency, an aspect, how you hold yourself as somebody that like, yeah, you've forged this version of you. You've done that shadow work. You've had those deaths and rebirths. You've gone through metamorphosis. You've had your ups and downs. You've risen from the ashes of versions of yourselves, chapters of your life, different experiences, and here you are radiating this like absolutely delightful essence inside that again makes this person wonder like, how are you still single? But they also see this as something that you at some point have realized like, yeah, I am a catch. I don't just need to kind of like settle for anything. If I have to be alone because I can't find somebody that is like putting down what I'm putting down, that is matching me effort for effort, then so be it. And I'm not going to look at that as a punishment. I'm going to look at it as something where I am setting myself aside until the right person comes into my reality and is able to kind of bring me out of that energy of solitude, of self-reflection. And so this is somebody, it feels like, that understands work must be put in order to earn access to those deeper layers to you. It's something where they're almost kind of like anticipating what that will be like, what will be revealed, as the situation kind of progresses between the two of you, as things develop, as things unfold. There's a sense of almost feeling that there's a side of you maybe that has never been loved in the light of day, or something that kind of aligns with a journey that you've been on where you've had to be that phoenix from the ashes in some capacity. So there's a part of you, maybe some aspect, maybe this total version of you at this point in time, if you've been in a prolonged period of being like celibate, single, hermit mode, just working on yourself, this person can sense that in your energy. And unlike people that would be like, ooh, great, okay, someone, to manipulate, sort of like fresh meat, this is something where this person is kind of like, okay, this is someone who has honored the sacred inside of themselves. This is somebody that knows their worth and value. And so I'm going to move accordingly. I'm going to approach this person, not just as the desire that I see on the surface level, but also tapping into that sacredness that I sense inside. Because they feel and they understand that you're very quick to kind of shut people out. You're very quick to cut off nonsense, or they just assume it would be the case. And so this is somebody that wants to like tread lightly with you, but not so lightly that it also kind of like makes your instincts sort of wonder like, okay, what's the catch? What's your angle? What are you after? What do you think you're trying to do in this situation? This is somebody that is kind of like, they have the capability to be very direct, very kind of like dominant in this situation, but there's almost like at this point, taking another step forward, it requires a softer approach. It requires kind of like yielding to this experience and the sense of almost like, tell me what you want to happen next. Show me what it is that you want me to do. Allow me the opportunity to kind of drift towards you in a subtle way so that your boundaries are intact, so that your integrity is intact, so that you feel that, whatever you allow to happen next between the two of us is honoring that kind of softness within that you've managed to preserve, or that you've enhanced inside yourself through whatever your journey has looked like up to this point in time that's brought you to my doorstep. It's brought you into my world. It's brought you into my reality. Single, thank goodness, because now I get the opportunity to potentially be your next long-term partner, to be that person that gets to experience this kind of wonder inside of you that I see, that I recognize, and that I am aware is kind of just one aspect, one layer to what they imagine is kind of like a very beautiful world within you, a very beautiful aspect of yourself that is a privilege that people are given access to once they have passed certain tests or requirements of your heart or that your discernment has put in place. This is somebody that's up to the challenge of meeting those tests, meeting those requirements, earning your trust, and proving to you that whoever they are, whatever this circumstance is, that it matches that frequency, the vibration, the reality of this current timeline, this new timeline that you find yourself upon. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Like or comment to claim these energies. Subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more content that I put out here. Don't forget to hit the bell button to get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you would like to book a personal reading with me, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.